New job numbers are in, and they're telling a story the mainstream media won't. America First is working. Since January, native-born employment is up by over 2 million, while foreign-born employment has dropped by more than 500,000. Those are big numbers. Supporters credit this trend to legislation like the Nuclear Family Priority Act, which reorients legal immigration around nuclear family units rather than extended chain migration. It also tightens visa pathways that have historically flooded the labor market with low-wage competition. As a result, sectors like manufacturing and service are seeing American job growth for the first time in years. Critics, of course, argue the U.S. economy still needs foreign labor, especially in tech and agriculture, but even they admit the 2 million boost in native-born jobs is hard to ignore. Calls are growing to now audit the H-1B visa system, which many say had been exploited by undercut wages and sideline qualified U.S. graduates. But in short, strategic immigration reform is paying off, and there is more work to do. Congressman MARLIN STUTZMAN of Indiana now joins us. Congressman, thank you so much. You cheered these numbers on in a tweet recently, and you said that much of the credit does, in fact, go to recent immigration reforms. Tell us how.
Oh, absolutely, Chanel. Great to be with you. And those are very optimistic numbers and ones that we can be very excited about. In an economy that we've been struggling through for the last 4 years under the Biden administration, President Trump's policies, President Trump's re-arrival back in Washington has been meted here in flyover country with open arms, because it's been a tough 4 years under the Biden administration. And actually, I was just visiting with several manufacturers this morning, and they were very encouraged by what's happened so far with President Trump's policies and the fact that there's a resurgence in manufacturing, that there's going to the orders are up. There's an interest in American manufacturing, and that's all due to President Trump leading the way and really focusing on the bread and butter industries of the United States that made America great to begin with, and that's ag and manufacturing.
So, like I said earlier, a lot of the advocates who have said that agricultural jobs will suffer if we impose these immigration reforms, even those critics are starting to come around. They're starting to say, actually, these do have long-term effects on our domestic employment numbers. That said, what other reforms do you see in the future that we should tighten up next? It's a big topic. There's H-1Bs, there's asylum loopholes, birth tourism. All of these items have significant room for reform. Where would you put top of the list?
Well, first of all, and this is something that I talked about even during the campaigns, is you have to seal the border. You have to control the border. Now that that's done, what I believe has happened over time is that our American economy, if you look at the unemployment numbers, the economy has built itself around those who are here undocumented and illegal. And in a variety of ways. That happens in a variety of ways. Of course, documentation that is not accurate, and that there's, of course, you have the coyote system out there where people are working for companies through a third party. And so those are all pieces that are just part of the reality today. And I think, especially for manufacturing and agriculture, you've seen a lot in agriculture that there's more automation, there's more equipment that now replaces a lot of the jobs that used to be needed by seasonal workers, whether American or non-American. But I think that now that President Trump has focused on the border and he is dealing and going after the criminals, now we've got to figure out what do we need to do to make our visa programs work. I mean, there used to be a day when we used to sponsor people for immigration, and my grandparents, sponsored people from East Asia back in the 70s and 80s. I like the idea that President Trump has floated out there about American farmers, vouching and sponsoring certain people. I'm not sure exactly what that all looks like, but I think at the end of the day, I would never support any sort of amnesty program for citizenship. But for those who are here
Right.
working, some sort of work visa program, I'm open to that concept. And so I'm really curious what President Trump's plan is related to that, because I think disrupting the workforce that is already integrated into the United States could be a major disruption if we try some sort of touchback program or whatever. But I think if we work together, there's a way to do this to bring people into a legal status. But again, I would never support citizenship, because I think that's the reward that would be given to someone who came here illegally. And I think that's what the Democrats want. I think they want to make it politics. Let's just simply keep it a work
Right.
visa program.